Hello. This is another week. We're back at Afro Beauty Braids channel. I welcome everybody that's here with me to find out what we're sharing this week. It's another hair tip. Yes, you guessed right. So this week I will be sharing how to take care of your hair in winter. Winter is very harsh. It's cold, it's dry, it's everything that you don't want it to be. And so this has a very negative effect on our hair. Today I will be sharing how to take care of our hair. If you have been coming to my channel and you haven't yet subscribed, please take a moment, subscribe, and also turn on the notification bell so you can know when new videos are out. Otherwise, if you're an ongoing subscriber, yay, you are so welcome. I'm excited to have all of you here. So my name is Irene. I did notice that I didn't introduce myself, just in case you're new to this channel. Let's get going. Tip number 1, drink water. Drink as much water as you can. Hydration is great. It's not just about moisturizing your hair externally, it's also hydrating your body. It helps your nails, it helps your skin, it helps your hair, generally your health. Okay, so in that way it's also helping you keep your hair healthy. So drink as much water as you can, or hydrate as much as you can. On the other hand, externally, do moisturize your hair. Water is the best moisturizer. I'm sure you all have hair care routines. If you don't have a routine, I have made a video about setting your own hair care routine after understanding what your hair type is and what your hair needs are. So that way you can set a routine for you, a weekly routine for you. So going back to point number 1, which was moisturization stroke hydration. Remember to moisturize your hair with water. Don't just spray it with water. There is a whole system where you moisturize your hair with water. Use an oil to seal in that water, or any other sealant, which is usually an oil or a butter, and then that helps to keep it moisturized through the winter. Point number 2, I advise you to mask and condition as much as you can. There is not too much conditioning or too much masking. So if you have been masking your hair once a month, I would advise you to mask it twice a month. That's if it's out, if it's not in a protective hairstyle. So by the way, even when you're doing protective hairstyles, do have a minimal time of keeping them in. We have a tendency, some of us, to have protective hairstyles for 6 months. I have met somebody who had braids for 6 months. I think it's not very good for your hair. I think the maximum, and this is my own recommendation, the maximum is 2 months from my own experience. Once you go beyond 2 months, I feel like yeah. So do take advantage of protective hairstyles, but have them in for a very minimal time, like 2 months at the max. And while your hair is out taking a break, then do mask your hair, do condition your hair as much as you can, just to keep in that moisture. And when you're moisturizing or conditioning your hair, make sure that you're using products that have things like honey, things like aloe vera. They help to trap that moisture into your hair. Once you're done with the masking and moisturizing with those humectants, there are many more, by the way, just to mention a few. I would advise you to go do your homework and look up humectants. Yeah. And so once you're done with the masking and conditioning and you've washed out everything, then when you're ready to moisturize your hair, then use a sealant to seal in the moisture. So you're keeping in the moisture, or to trap it in. So those are very, very important points. Use products that have humectants, and then make sure with your routine, once you've washed your hair, you're sealing it with a sealant. It can be an oil, it can be a butter, it can, once you use that sealant, it traps in the moisture. And so, by the way, the other thing is that once you trap in the moisture, once you use a sealant, no moisture can come in and no moisture can leave. So it's kind of, you know, set until you have another wash. Okay, I hope you get me. My next point would be do not apply heat to air dry your hair, but also avoid wash and goes, because remember, it's a very cold time. You can't be walking around with your hair like dripping and air drying while it's dripping. Like when you do wash and goes, as you know, your hair is very, very wet, so be very careful. I think one of the methods that I use, whether it's hot or cold weather, is once I wash my hair or my daughter's hair, is I do the whole moisturization situation, like put in, once I seal it, I just do some big braids, single plaits, or some big twists, and those help to keep it, you know, stop it from dripping. At that point, it's not dripping, but it dries while it's in those plaits, and it comes out really good, really, really good. So that way I barely, like, use a dryer maybe once in 4 months. That's if I need to, by the way. So I don't time it, and it's usually with my daughter's hair because she has very thick hair. So sometimes I come in, you know, I do face situations where I don't have a choice, but I need to use a dryer just a little bit, and the setting is usually at a very low heat, just to help me out. Otherwise, I don't use a dryer. I don't use what they call styling tongs. Yeah, I don't use all of that stuff. That is all direct heat on your hair, so that minimizes the damage. Yeah, when you mask, use a steamer. When you steam your hair, like have a mask in your hair. Okay, I'll backtrack. Wash your hair, put in your mask, put a shower cap on it, and then steam it. When you steam your hair, if you have a steamer, hooray, that works great. If you don't, you can just put a shopping bag on your head and then a towel for a couple of hours, and then it will start to sweat in there. That steam or heat in your hair really does help the product to kind of penetrate your hair shaft and then give you the best of results. Your hair will absorb all the goodness because you're giving it time, but you're also steaming it, and it works great. So winter time is such a great time when you have a chance to mask your hair or condition your hair. Do go for deep conditioning, or do go for masking with a steam. Okay, remember to trim your ends when your hair is out, because the more you leave your ends, now remember you're preparing, so once you leave those ends, and when I say ends, I mean the ends of your natural hair. Like sometimes we have split ends. Those ends are really terribly split, and the more you leave them, I know a lot of us don't want to trim our hair. We feel like, oh my goodness, I'm losing my inches. You're doing yourself such an injustice, because this is what happens if you don't trim your hair and you have split ends. Do you see my braid? And I'm going to mess around with it. I hope it does what I'm trying to demonstrate. Then the more you don't cut off these split ends at that point, then the split keeps coming up and up and up. So that means while you're busy retaining your length, half or most of your hair is dead anyway. There's no life in it. But if you get a chance, catch it before it splits any further up. So that's the whole point of trimming your hair, before you put it in a protective hairstyle. So I will show you how this would really work good. You're preparing for winter, you have a protective style that you're already interested in. Say you're going to do single plaits. You would take out your hair, wash it properly, mask it. In the masking, steam it, deep condition, rinse it out, put in your hair butter oil to seal in the moisture. And once all of that is done, it depends. Some people want to trim their hair while it's wet before all of that, and I would rather trim my hair once I've sealed in all that moisture, because I don't want it to get dry before I do that. So then I will trim it very well and then go for my protective hairstyle. That's a very good routine for preparing for winter. Once you have in your single plaits, remember to moisturize your hair even when it's in plaits. What I usually do is I get a bottle of water, just spray my scalp, and then use my shea butter, which is mixed with a cup of oils. I love almond oil because it is so moisturizing. For me, it works wonders. So and I like light oils. Heavy oils usually give me I usually get build up on my scalp, so I use very light oils like olive oil, avocado oil, almond oil. Those are like my favorite oils to use. So I mix that with my shea butter. I have a video on that. If you're interested in knowing how that mixture is done, please do go watch that video. And then I put it on my scalp and I gently massage my scalp. So you're loving on that scalp. There's, you're promoting blood circulation. It's going to in turn help your hair grow out of a very, nice, healthy scalp. So basically, those are my tips. I hope they help. So just going through all of them again, in case I didn't explain them very well. We talked about having a protective hairstyle, wearing a protective hairstyle as much as you can, trimming your hair, how to prepare your hair, trim your hair, mask your hair, condition your hair, make sure that you seal in the moisture, and then once you have it in, then remember to take care of your hair when it's in plaits. One more thing, not everybody is interested in protective hairstyles. Some people would still want to just wear maybe their single plaits or braids in their natural hair. No problem with that. One caution I have, in the cold weather we tend to put on, of course, we tend to put on hats and scarves and all of that stuff. Remember that all of these knitted hats kind of pull out your hair bit by bit. So what I would advise you to do is get a silk, either a silk scarf or a silk, I'm not sure what to call that, but you know what I mean. Put it on and then put on your hat. I don't think there's any harm in that. If you think that's too much, it's so easy to get a small silk scarf. It's so easy to get a silk scarf. Then just tie it around your hair. Let there be a protective layer between the hat and your hair, and that helps a lot, because then that protective scarf is stopping your hair from being pulled out little by little by your winter hats. I hope you enjoy your winter. I hope you have gained from this. I am always excited to hear your testimonies. Let me know what you think, what has worked for you. Maybe I have made something that you would love to share with the rest of the Afro Beauty Braids followers. That would be great. Otherwise, I love you and I'll see you next week. Have a blessed one.